It's the history of the Tottenham.
Yes, literally, Chiellini. With 26 trophies, Tottenham Hotspur are one of the most decorated teams in the Premier League. Now, lots of you may be surprised by this, because as of today, many people have questioned naming Tottenham as part of the Big Six teams in England. In football journalist Adrian Durham's words, Spurs haven't won the title since 1961. They haven't won the FA Cup since 1991. They have one League Cup in 30-odd years. They've never won the European Cup/Champions League, so how can they be in a traditional Big Six? Well, their rich, triumphant history is partly the reason why they have a valid claim to the spot. The North London club has been home to some of the Premier League greats, such as Harry Kane, Jermaine Defoe, Luka Modric, Gareth Bale, Jimmy Greaves, Dimitar Berbatov, and Gary Lineker, to name just a few. But it wasn't always this way. The club was founded in 1882 by members of the Hotspur Cricket Club in Tottenham and members from the local grammar school. At its formation, the team was named Hotspur FC.
Hotspur?
And navy blue was adopted as the club's colour. This colour was changed in 1890 to red shirts and navy blue shorts, and it was in 1884 that the English team was renamed Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. Tottenham Hotspur became a professional team in 1895 and joined the Southern League in 1896. They enjoyed a good start, winning their first trophy, the Southern League, just 5 years after they became professional in the year 1900. In 1901, Spurs won the FA Cup after defeating Sheffield United in the final, becoming the first and to this day the only non-league club since the formation of the Football League in 1988 to win the FA Cup. In 1908, Spurs were admitted into the second division of the Football League. After great footballing displays in their first season, Spurs were promoted to the first division. Spurs' rivalry with their North London neighbours Arsenal started long ago. It started when the two teams met at their first top division league match and has remained severe ever since, with shocking results and hot tempers throughout the years of storied fixtures. Tottenham suffered their first relegation to the second division in the 1914-15 season and stayed there for a few years before in 1920 when Spurs finally gained promotion back to the first division after just one season in the second division. This was done after a record-breaking 70 points were amassed during the season. In their first season after promotion, the 1920-21 season, Spurs secured their second FA Cup title after beating Wolverhampton Wanderers 1-0 at Stamford Bridge. Once again, Spurs were relegated to the second division in 1928 and didn't achieve promotion back to the first division until 1933, after which they were again relegated in 1938. For most of the 1930s and 1940s, Tottenham languished in the second division. After securing the FA Cup in 1921, Spurs didn't win another major trophy until former player Arthur Rowe became manager in 1949. Rowe's era was famous for introducing a distinctive push-and-run style of play that relied on short, quick passes and constant ball movement. Rowe secured First Division promotion in his first season and managed Spurs to their first top division league championship in his second season, the 1950-51 season. Rowe's era ended in 1955 after he resigned due to a stress-induced illness. One of his major contributions to Tottenham's history was the signing of one of Spurs' most celebrated players, Danny Blanchflower, who won the FWA Footballer of the Year twice while at Tottenham. A few seasons after Rowe left, Bill Nicholson, whom Rowe had managed during his time at Spurs, became the manager of Tottenham. Nicholson took over as the manager of Spurs in October 1958, and he remains the club's most successful manager to date. Nicholson served as manager from 1958 to 1974 in what is termed the most successful Spurs era. The Nicholson era first showed its might in the 1960-61 season, when Tottenham completed a rare double by winning both the League Championship and FA Cup, becoming the first club to complete the double since Preston North End and Aston Villa did so in 1889 and 1897 respectively. In 1962, Spurs won the FA Cup again, adding to their trophy cabinet, which was pretty impressive for the time anyway. In 1963, Tottenham claimed the European Cup Winners' Cup, the first major continental trophy ever won by an English team, by defeating Atletico Madrid 5-1 in the final. During the 1962-63 season, Jimmy Greaves became Spurs' highest league scorer in one season when he scored a whopping 37 goals. Nicholson guided Tottenham to another FA Cup title in 1967, the League Cup in 1971 and 1973, and the Union of European Football Associations, or UEFA Cup, in 1972. In 1972, Spurs became the first British team to have won two different European titles. Also, by winning the League Cup in 1973, Tottenham became the first club to win the League Cup twice. In total, Bill Nicholson won 8 major trophies in his 16 years as manager of Spurs. After this period of success in the early 1970s, Spurs started to decline in 1974, and this led to Nicholson resigning after a poor start to the 74-75 season. The team later suffered relegation in the 1976-77 season under the manager of Keith Birkinshaw, but secured promotion back at first attempt. Birkinshaw built a team that went on to win the FA Cup in 1981 and 1982, finished 4th in the league in 1983, and won the UEFA Cup in 1984. Then, after a middling period, in 1991 under Terry Venables, who'd become manager in 1987, Tottenham won their 8th FA Cup, becoming the first team to win 8 FA Cup titles. Spurs do have a lot of history, after all, naysayers. Although Tottenham was one of the 5 clubs that pushed for the founding of the Premier League in 1992, for the first 10 to 15 years of the league, they finished in around mid-table position. During this period, they did win the League Cup in 1999 under George Graham, and again in 2008 under Juan de Ramos. But it was not until 2006 that Tottenham showcased their might in the Premier League. Tottenham finished 5th in the 2005-2006 season to secure UEFA Cup football for the first time since 1992, and this was repeated in 2007, and then in 2008, Spurs won the League Cup for the 4th time, which is to date their last trophy of any note. In 2010, Tottenham finished in the top 4 of the English Premier League, securing Champions League qualification for the first time in the club's history. In 2013, under Tim Sherwood, Spurs achieved their best ever Premier League tally of 72 points, but finished 5th in the division. At the end of that season, Gareth Bale, one of Tottenham's greatest ever players, joined Real Madrid for a world record transfer fee. In terms of modern-day Tottenham, the major protagonist is Mauricio Pochettino. Poch was appointed as Tottenham manager in 2014 and is arguably one of the best managers the club has seen. Although no trophy was won during the Pochettino era, Tottenham consistently made the top 4 and qualified for the Champions League. Pochettino was even close to winning the Champions League in the 2018-19 season, agonisingly losing the final to Liverpool, and also the league in 2015-16, in which the remarkable Leicester City beat them to it. In essence, Tottenham enjoyed their best spell in the Premier League under Pochettino. The search for their first trophy since 2008 has led to the sacking and hiring of many top managers. It started when Jose Mourinho replaced Pochettino in November 2019. Ryan Mason later took over for Mourinho in 2021 after Mourinho, serial trophy winner, was fired the day before the League Cup final. Was this one of the worst decisions ever made by Daniel Levy? Spurs fans, weigh in. Nuno Espirito Santo was sacked after only a few months in November 2021, and Antonio Conte was also sacked in 2023, with Ryan Mason again taking over as interim coach before the appointment of Ange Postecoglou. Ange Postecoglou is currently the manager at Spurs. He retained his position after a decent outing in the 2023-24 season, even though he didn't win any trophy. But a trophy this season, this year, would be excellent. And there are lots at Tottenham who think it may be possible. Ange Ball is a thing. So do Tottenham have what it takes to win a trophy in the 24-25 season? Many top players have played for Tottenham. The most notable ones have included Danny Blanchflower and Cliff Jones, who were leaders of the club during the famous 1960-61 campaign. Jimmy Greaves, Bobby Smith and Martin Chivers are among Spurs' most prolific goal scorers. Steve Perryman also established himself as a great player for Spurs. He holds the record for most games played by appearing in 854 matches with Tottenham between 1969 and 1984. Top players for Spurs in the early 21st century include Robbie Keane, Jermaine Defoe, Gareth Bale, Harry Kane, and Heung-min Son, the current captain. Harry Kane is arguably the best player to have ever played for the club. Kane joined the youth ranks of Tottenham in 2004, spending almost 20 years at the North London side before leaving in 2023 for German giants Bayern Munich. During his time at Tottenham in the Premier League, Kane won 3 Golden Boots Award, 1 Playmaker of the Year award, and 7 Player of the Month awards, while scoring a total of 213 goals and providing 47 assists in 320 matches. In all competitions, Kane scored a total of 280 goals and made 61 assists in 435 matches for Tottenham. His numbers are simply out of this world, and he sits at the top of Spurs' all-time goalscorer list. The 2024-25 season is Ange's second season in charge of Tottenham, and one thing is clear. It is high time he won a trophy. Anything less than a trophy this season could even see him sacked. With great players at his disposal, like Son, Maddison, Kulusevski, Romero, etc., Tottenham do have what it takes to win a trophy this season. Even more so with the signing of Dominic Solanke for £65 million. If you want to see more on Solanke, check out our video here and subscribe if you enjoy. Spurs have a complete team with a good goalkeeper, class defenders, reliable midfielders, and quality attackers and wingers, and they definitely have what it takes to win a trophy. Although today, many people, like Adrian Durham, question why Tottenham should be named as part of the top 6, especially because of their almost 2-decade title drought. But the North London team has a rich, triumphant history and are in fact one of the biggest clubs in the Premier League.